Hello everyone, I am Dr. Vishal Rajput from Himalayan School of Biosciences in Swami Rama Himalayan University, Dehradun. And today I am going to talk about the water cycle. It is another continuation lecture in the module of Biogeochemical cycle. In this particular lecture, I will talk about the movement of the water taking place on the earth. As water cycle, also known as the hydrological cycle, or the hydrological cycle describes the continuous movement of water on, above or below the surface of the earth. As I have already mentioned in several lectures that ecosystem is composed of three parts: atmosphere, which is gases, lithosphere, which is soil, and the aquatic environment, which is the marine as well as the freshwater system of the on the earth. And water cycle is concerned with all three aspects of the ecosystem. It moves from one to another part of the ecosystem, or from one atmosphere to another atmosphere, and this is the because it is essential for the survival of the organisms. Now, first of all, during the water cycle, water changes its state from one phase to another, but the total number of water particles remain the same. Water can be found in three states like liquid, gas, or the solid. Solid is ice or the snow. Liquid is water, which is available very easily in the system, and the vapor, which is in the gaseous form. But whatever the form is, the whole number of particle or the water particles will remain same, whether it is in the solid form, liquid form, or the gaseous form. This phenomena can also be understood with the example like if it were possible to collect and boil 100 grams of the water, it will still remain a mass of 100 gram in the form of the vapor or the steam. So, number of particle or the water molecule particle will remain same. Likewise, if 100 gram of steam is collected and condensed again and converted into the liquid form, the resultant water would still weigh 100 gram. So, there will be no loss or the addition of the water molecule in the conversion of form, whether solid, liquid, or gas. Now, next of all, stages of water cycle. There are many processes involved in the movement of water apart from the major steps given in the above water cycle diagram, which I am going to describe later. And water changes its state through a variety of processes such as evaporation, melting, freezing, to sublimation, condensation, or finally to the deposition. But ultimately all these changes require the application of the energy. Like if we want to convert liquid to the vapor form, we have to give energy or the heat. Now, this is the pictorial representation of the water cycle, which is showing the movement of water molecule from one state to another state. Here you can see that plants are uptaking the water with the help of the roots from the underground water sources, which is found in the lithosphere. This underground water is also connecting with the ocean, and it's also connecting to the water body in the fresh water. So, water is found in two forms. One is mineral, which has saline in nature, and another is fresh water. So, basically the movement of water takes place from fresh to saline and saline to fresh. Here a direct connection is underground water, which is connected. Further, as you can see that evaporation is taking place. Evaporation, what is doing? It is creating the clouds, and this evaporation is being transported, and again it is reaching to the colder area like Uttarakhand and Himachal. And what is happening? Precipitation is taking place. Now, precipitation can be done in two forms, either in the liquid form or in the snow form, or the freezing of the water vapor. Both the phenomena will take water back to the earth and convert it into the salty water to the fresh water. Now, this particular here you can see the deposition is taking place in the form of the snow. Now what happens, you must be knowing about the glaciers. What they do, they evaporate, they collect the water in the solid form, and in the summer time what they do, they start releasing the water back to the fresh water. Now what it is doing, due with the help of the runoff, the whole water is coming back to the or adding to the fresh water bodies such as lakes, rivers, ponds, etc. So this is how the whole water body is, water cycle is moving from one place to another place. Here one more thing which is known as the transpiration. Now transpiration is a process by which plants release you can say considerable amount of water, and with the help of the condensation it converts into the cloud, and ultimately it reaches to the it transports, and finally it give back with the help of the precipitation. So this is there are the multiple stages you can see in this picture, which is showing the movement of water from one aspect to another aspect, but the whole reservoir is present in this marine system as well as the freshwater system. Whatever water is present on the earth, it can be divided into two major parts. Majorly is marine, or very small amount or small fraction is in the fresh water, which is found on the land or the terrestrial condition, and whole life of the plants and the animal depends on the freshwater system, because we cannot consume the saline water. But for the survival of the ecosystem, for the survival of the water animals and the movement of the water, marine system is the most crucial one or the vital one. Now further, what is evaporation? The sun is the ultimate source of energy, and it powers the most of the evaporation that occurs on the earth. Evaporation generally happens when the water molecules at the surface of the water bodies become excited and rise into the air. These molecules with the highest kinetic energy accumulate into water vapor clouds. Evaporation usually takes place below the boiling point of the water. Another process is called the evapotranspiration, where it occurs when evaporation occurs through the leaves of the plants. This process contributes to a large percentage of water in the atmosphere. Next is sublimation. Sublimation occurs when snow or ice changes directly into water vapor without becoming the water. It usually occurs as a result of dry winds and low humidity. Sublimation can be observed on the mountain peaks where the air pressure is quite low. The low air pressure helps to sublimate the snow into water vapor, as less energy is utilized in this particular process. Another example of sublimation is the phase where fog billow from the dry ice. On Earth, the primary source of sublimation is from the ice sheets covering the poles of the Earth, but this comes in the last at the list of the sublimation process. Third is condensation. The water vapor that accumulate in the atmosphere eventually cools down due to the low temperatures found at high altitude. These vapors become tiny droplets of the water and ice, eventually coming together to form the clouds. Last is precipitation. Above 0 degree centigrade, the vapors will condense into water droplets. However, it cannot condense without dust or other impurities. Hence, water vapor attaches himself on the particle's surface. When enough droplets merge, it falls out of the cloud onto the ground below. This process is called as the precipitation, or commonly we know it as a rainfall. In particularly cold weather or extremely low air pressure, the water droplet freezes and fall in the form of the snow. Next is infiltration. Rainwater gets absorbed into the ground through the process of infiltration. The level of absorptions varies based on the material the water has seeped into. For instance, rock will remain comparatively less water than the soil. Groundwater can either follow streams or rivers, but sometimes it might just sink deeper, forming the aquifers. Next is runoff. If the water from rainfall does not form aquifers, it follows gravity, often flowing down the sides of the mountains and the hills, eventually forming the rivers. This process is called as the runoff. In colder regions, ice caps form when the amount of snowfall is faster than the rate of the evaporation or sublimation. The biggest ice cap on the earth are found at the poles. Implications of water cycle. The water cycle has a tremendous impact on the climate. For instance, the greenhouse effect will cause a rise in temperature and without the evaporating cooling effect of the water cycle. In the absence of this process, the temperature of earth will rise drastically and the life on the earth will become impossible. So here you can understand that it is the importance of water cycle is essential for the survival of the life on the planet earth, because it has several aspects, it has involved in almost all the aspects of the planet earth. So we should conserve water, we should use the water very carefully, and most importantly, no one should waste water for our life. Thank you.